What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Normally I go into super high depth and detail into like the analysis of why these weapons are better than others. Today I'm pretty much just going to give you guys the build that MetaGen spits out. If you don't know what MetaGen is a tool on TrueGameData.com, which is the website that I built, that will analyze every attachment in the game, every weapon in the game, every combination of every attachment on the weapons, and spit out what it thinks the best builds are. It was trained and tuned by me. It's a premium feature on TGD that if you subscribe, you'll get access to. $5 a month to get access to that, as well as all the other features on TGD. But we're going to go through just the base calculations that it spits out today for the long-range meta. I'm not going to tweak it at all. So if you run this yourself, you can kind of change it up and weight things differently, different stats, and say that you don't want to force suppressors being on your guns because you don't care about that. You can turn settings on and off like that and really customize it to output what you want. But yeah, today we're just going to use that, and I'm going to go through it because I don't really have time to go in super deep detail right now. So we're just going to focus on the default output for MetaGen, and you guys will be able to see the builds over on the right as I'm going through it. And I might make some notes on some slight tweaks because MetaGen's not perfect. It gets you very close, but it's not going to be perfect. But yeah, let's start going through this. We're going to look at weapons that scored 9.5 and higher. So SVA 545 is the first one we're going to look at here. It is at 9.51. Fire suppressor, precision barrel, main stock, and then 60 round mag. SVA is very good and has actually no recoil when you put it on the burst mode. So if you toggle it to its single fire mode, its little 2-round burst, has no recoil at all and has basically the same TTK as it does when it's on full auto. So keep that in mind. If you're ever at really long distances, you can toggle it to that semi-auto to have no recoil. But if you're in mid to close range, you probably want to leave it on automatic. This is the score for its automatic version, so it would be even better than this. On that 2-round burst, if you can actually effectively use the 2-round burst. So it's a great gun right now. The meta is very wide open. Anything over 9.5 is really good, and we have a bunch of weapons over 9.5 on here. So next up, the Holger 556. It has a little bit of an S-shaped recoil pattern, but it's still very good. So it has a VT7 Spirit Fire suppressor, the Trios match barrel, the Adel assault stock, and then the 40-round mag, also held back by the fact that it only has a 40-round mag, but still pretty good. It's a pretty competitive option right now in general. Next up, we have the MTZ 556 in the silver position with the exact same score as the Holger 556. Also in a pretty good spot here. We got the Spirit Fire suppressor, MTZ clinch pro barrel, Mura Rin vertical grip, and then 50-round drum mag. Getting into the golds now. As I'm going through this, I want to remind you guys the absolute best way to support TGD. A lot of creators and things use TGD to make their content, and if you want to support the source, the best way to support me is a subscription to the website. You can think of it, even if you don't use the website, you can think of it like a Patreon almost. It helps to support both me and Christina. This is a two-man operation, two-man and woman operation. She does all the front-end work. I do all the back end and like MetaGen and things like that. But that's just the best way to support is direct subscription to TGD, support the YouTube channel and the website, and just supports us as we continue keeping all the data up to date for the entire community. But anyway, back to this. BP50 is up next. It's in the gold position, 9.58. Really, really good. It's one of my absolute favorite weapons right now. MetaGen was mostly tuned for the big maps, so like all Mazrah, Urzikstan, Caldera, Verdansk, things like that. The bigger maps is what I built the tuning off of. We're gonna have some things coming soon that will allow you to use some default settings to have it, output weapons for the smaller maps. But for now, it is kind of built for the bigger maps. And again, if you use this yourself, you can kind of tune the stats and tune the output for what you want. But just by default, it is for the big map. BP50, I think, is a little bit better for the smaller maps just because it's quicker, faster ADS time, faster movement speed, things like that. Yeah, it's an excellent weapon right now. So Spirit Fire suppressor, Lore 9 heavy barrel, Forbearer heavy stock, 45-round mag. SOA subverter. This is a gun that has pretty much the best TTK at all ranges right now of any weapon. It has a little zigzag in the recoil right at the start that makes it kind of hard to use, which is why it's not just like overpoweringly the meta for everyone. But it is extremely good and definitely a meta contender right now. So Spirit Fire suppressor, Dozer 90 long barrel, Bruin heavy sport grip, and 50-round drum. I think that it's a little bit better on mouse and key than controller because mouse and key is better at correcting for those little zigzag S-shaped recoil patterns if they happen quickly. And that's kind of where the subverter sits. So I do think that it's a little bit more of a mouse and key gun, but it's still very good on controller as well. And then in the diamond position, we have the Pulam Yacht 762 with the Jack Annihilator Bullpup kit. This was the meta for a long time, and it is still very good even after all of the nerfs that it got. Obviously, you can see Metagen looks at every stat and still gives it a 9.6 out of 10. So it's still in a great spot if you're interested in using that. So Spirit Fire Suppressor, Jack Annihilator Long Barrel, Bruin Heavy Sport Grip, and then the Bullpup kit. Now, a lot of people always ask me why there's no 5th attachment. Metagen, the reason it doesn't ever give you the option to use iron sights is because it used to take too long to run if I included a 5th attachment, but I'm going to be trying some things out to see if I can do an iron sight version of Metagen for long range. So that 5th attachment is for you to pick your favorite optic right now, but I do see that a lot of people want iron sight builds, and I think it's probably possible at this point. I've made some tweaks to Metagen, how it works behind the scenes, and I think I can probably get it working. Next up, we have the Holger 26 in Crimson Spot. So this is, it's just been a consistent weapon for a really long time. It's still in a good spot this long later, so 9.74. Again, this is more for big maps, so I think Subverter and BP50 are going to be ideal for the smaller maps, and then these ones at the top are more for the bigger maps. You can use the Subverter and the BP50 on the big map as well, but I think they just kind of line up with the small maps a little bit better. Holger, because it's a heavier LMG, it's going to be slower and more fitting for the big map. So we have the Spirit Fire Suppressor, Holger Factory Barrel, Bruin Heavy Support Grip, and the Morn 20 Grip. And then in the first place position, Bruin Mark 9. So in the patch notes, they said they nerfed this, but I was able to get in and test all the patch changes for Season 3, and it has not been nerfed yet. It's exactly the same still. So it's still going to be an absolute awesome option. It's one of my favorites for sure. Just has great damage across the board, and the mobility got buffed a bunch, so it plays more like an AR than it used to. It's in a really good spot, so I would definitely give that a try. So Metagen like Spirit Fire Suppressor, Bruin Heavy Sport Grip, high velocity ammunition, and 60 round mag. I think that's a decent build. I would potentially use the regular default 100 round mag and then get another attachment for recoil, just to minimize that recoil as much as possible. I would also say for the BP50 and the Subverter, both of these have really good iron sights, so you might want to use that 5th attachment slot for a little bit extra recoil help again. So that's something to consider. Both of these are really good with iron sights, and then the Bruin Mark 9, I'd probably use the regular 100 round mag and use another attachment for recoil there. So that's all I wanted to show you guys in this. If you like the content, I know this video is a little different than normal, just kind of going through Metagen because I don't have time to make a super in-depth video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, drop a comment what you guys are liking to use this season. Rebirth Island's out, so I'm guessing a lot of you are playing the smaller maps, probably using things like the BP50 and Subverter a little bit more than what would be used on Urzikstan. But like I said before, the best way to support is just a $5 a month subscription on TGD. We get 95% of that directly to us, so it helps us keep the site updated and helps us keep the data updated and everything like that. But that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.